Okay, we've got lots to talk about with UFOs today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And yeah, I'm joined today by Baxter. Man, he's so happy to have me back. Yeah, he's just been following me everywhere and hanging out with me everywhere. Yeah, you're a good cat. You're a good cat, Bax. Okay, let's get going here. Jaime Maussan is retweeting a video shown on Fox News of a UFO. Caught entirely unintentionally. But check this out, guys. This is a very short clip, but very intriguing. So check it out. All right. So yeah, it's Israel. This is the second UFO that I've shown over Israel. And yeah, it's just this anomalous thing that, there's no known explanation for it. Could it be a bird or a drone or something like that? Sure, I mean, I guess it's really too short of a clip to tell anything for sure. But I mean, look how it just kind of, it doesn't move like I would expect a bird or a drone to move. I think that we might be looking at a UFO here, but let me know what you think. Also, I think a bird would appear as much smaller than that, the distance that it appears to be. So let me know what you think that is. I think that that's very likely a genuine UFO. Meanwhile, this gentleman's comments have been making the waves. Former DD&I Cliff Sims on trying to receive the briefing on UFOs and UAP alongside the DNI at ODNI. All right, well, let's listen to what he has to say. It's actually fascinating. Who knows what is really, really interesting, and I think a very important question. Who has the power to know this stuff, and who has the power to act on it? Because it's not just a few people that are aware of the reality of the UFO phenomenon and potentially of UFO crash retrievals and reverse engineering. I mean, they're shooting down UFOs. They're sending fighters out to shoot down UFOs. Think of the chain of command in that, and who is aware of this activity. So it seems like it's a fairly large number of people who are aware, at least on some level, of what is going on. And here we have people being briefed on UFOs, or at least people that should be being briefed on UFOs, who have the access seemingly, but they are not allowed to get that information. I think that is really important to understand just how compartmentalized this is. But at the same time, it's not just a few people, but it is definitely people at the top that seem to know this information. Of course, this gentleman's comments have been getting a lot of play. A lot of people are talking about it. Tim McMillan saying, let's not get too excited here. Sims was the DDI of strategic comms for DNI. It's not like he was the principal deputy DNI. In the hierarchy of DNI appointees, his position literally falls between the chief diversity officer and the chief EEO. So Tim McMillan not impressed by this gentleman's qualification. Dean Johnson says, I am in agreement with the main thrust of what Lieutenant Tim McMillan is saying, that false inferences are being drawn from the Cliff Sims clip. In fairness to Sims, however, he did hold a post higher than the head of the current strategic communications position. Sims was a deputy DNI for strategy and communications and was regarded as part of DNI Radcliffe top circle, I believe. But later, the strategic communications position was downgraded. It now appears much lower on the ODNI chart, and it is now headed by a mere assistant DNI, which is a lower rank. So take what he says with a grain of salt, I guess. I mean, obviously, we can't believe everybody, but the scenario that he lays out does seem very likely to me. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Meanwhile, there's a lot of mummy news being breaking lately. A lot of it's very frustrating though. Like this, for example. All right, so this is apparently a still from a video that the Tomb Raiders took when they were in the Citadel, getting these specimens, these bodies, right? And it's very evocative of the videos that we've seen that I've shown several times on the channel and talked quite a bit about of the crazier stuff that is out there around the Nazca mummies and what might be still living in the tomb or the citadel, the lab, whatever you want to call it. So, are those videos legit? If they're not, why are they not legit? Does this still in any way validate those other videos? Yeah, I'm talking about the ones with the living beings in them that I've shown multiple times. Is that real? I don't know how that could be real. It looks so fake. But at the same time, I don't see how it could have been made with the resources that the Tomb Raiders would have had available, and why they would have made it. And there's multiple sets, props. It's a whole big production, much of which doesn't even really feature prominently in the video. They're featuring you can see a tiny tidbit of a set that they would have had to construct, which doesn't even prominently feature in the video. So why would they have gone through the trouble of making that if it is only going to get like a second of screen time? It doesn't make a lot of sense for those videos to be fake, but it doesn't make sense for them to be real either. So, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? And does this image shared by Jaime Maussan, I believe, Jaime Maussan and Thierry Jaman elaborate on the undisclosed site of the Citadel? The tomb shown is the same as the one in the grave robbers footage. Indeed, it sure looks like it. So what does that mean, guys? Let me know what you think. And by the way, I'm really glad that Thierry Jaman and Jaime Maussan are still working together and still talking together. I think that's awesome. Meanwhile, check this thing out. What in the world? What? And this is just so cool. Look at that. That is awesome, guys. And that is apparently rainwater. But that is just beautiful, living sculpture or whatever. A rain oculus in Marina Bay Sands, Singapore. A skylight in a rain collector. Rainwater descends 2 stories. Recycled rainwater fuels the dynamic whirlpool and fills a canal in the atrium. That is just gorgeous. I've never seen rainwater put to better use, guys. I mean, at least a more, decorative use. That is just lovely. It's got people in gondolas. I mean, that's insane, guys. That's nuts. Have you ever heard of people in gondolas gondoling on rainwater from a crazy atrium? That's nuts. That's nuts. Meanwhile, we have a really intriguing story coming from Timothy Alberino and his guest, David Altman. All right, and this is about Bigfoot in the Patterson-Gimlin video. Well, according to David Altman, or some of his contacts anyway, the footage that we have seen so far of Patty is only the tip of the iceberg. So, first of all, there appears to be another piece of footage, or a longer version of the video that we're familiar with, that shows that female going into the woods and being greeted by 2 other adults and a juvenile. So that would be amazing to see. It's unclear if it's a longer version of that video or if it's, a clearer version of that video where you can see more details. Because apparently the original video that has been lost for many years has been found sitting in somebody's attic. And that video is looking for a new home. So if you have a few $1,000,000 you want to spend, you can go get it. But it gets weirder and more disturbing. So the information that the owner of the video gave to David Altman, this lady that has this footage sitting in her attic, she says, actually, there's even more footage. She may or may not possess it. I'm not sure who owns that footage. But, okay, so it throws the whole Patterson-Gimlin footage in a whole new light, a much more disturbing light. Timothy Alberino believes it actually makes more sense with this new narrative. So here's the story. Okay. So the story is that there were loggers up in that area that were logging, and the Bigfoots were, attacking them or something. They were afraid of the Bigfoot, and they were not going to work anymore on the logging. So the company, the logging company, says, hey, we can't allow the Bigfoot or whatever is going on to stop the progress of this, multi-million-dollar effort, right? So we're going to hire some guys to go and track down these Bigfoot, and we are going to kill the Bigfoot. And apparently the government was also involved in this. So it's unclear how everything shakes out in this, and who's doing what. Are there men in black involved? We don't know all the details yet, but it looks like Patterson and Gimlin may have been recruited as outdoors types and familiar with the area to track down and hunt and kill these Bigfoot. Or at least to help track them down. It's unclear if they kill them, if others kill them. But the idea is that, there was a Bigfoot massacre that was perpetuated in order to keep the logging going. And they killed and they skinned the Bigfoots. That's creepy. That's disturbing. That's so sad. I hope it's not true. Apparently there is footage of that. And again, it's unclear if the lady that is currently in possession of the original footage is also the owner of that footage, or if she just knows where it is, or if she's seen it. But either way, that is the new story that's out there. And once this all happened, they weren't going to release the whole thing, or they couldn't release the whole thing, all of that video. So they just released the sanitized version of the female walking to the woods. And they came up with the idea of, the story, the narrative that they've been saying all these years, that they were trying to make a documentary and get the Bigfoot's footprint. And so, but that apparently was a cover story for this other thing that actually happened, hunting down and killing and even skinning the Bigfoots. So unclear if that is true or just total bunk, but it is possible. It is very possible, much more likely, that there is at least this other longer or at least clearer version of the Patterson-Gimlin footage, which would show a juvenile and two more adults waiting in the tree line for Patty. I would love to see that footage. I hope they survived and that other story is not true. But yeah, let me know what you think about this crazy, messed up story in the comments below. Meanwhile, we've got Danny Sheehan saying Senator Rounds could airdrop a section of the UAP Disclosure Act into NDAA negotiations after the U.S. elections on November 5th. I'll push for revised language requiring each government office to provide UAP info to the archivist of the U.S. immediately after passage, not as soon as practicable. So yeah, you go, Danny. I hope this happens. I hope Senator Rounds airdrops sections of the UAP Disclosure Act into the NDAA. Is that possible? I don't know enough about the mechanics of Congress to know what's possible and what's not. Can you just airdrop something into that? Maybe as part of the conciliation phase when you're reconciling the different versions of the bill. Is that how you do it potentially? I don't know. If you do, let me know in the comments below. Either way, there may still be hope for at least part of the NDAA to pass, the UAP Disclosure Act to pass in this NDAA. So fingers crossed. I hope that happens. I'm much more optimistic about the UAP Disclosure Act or amendment passing next year. I think things are building momentum, and by next year we're going to have galvanized more Congress people to act than we currently have right now. So fingers crossed, the pro-disclosure people pushing things forward can keep their foot on the gas that long to get more people on board. But, if that doesn't happen, maybe Danny's right, and there is still hope for the UAP Disclosure Amendment this year. or it'll be finalized, I guess, in probably January is when it usually is finalized. Meanwhile, Jon Stewart is saying this. All my Persian friends will finally give the world catastrophic disclosure. It's all coming together just as they told me it would. And he's retweeting this comment. General Amir Ali, I'm not going to pronounce that name. We will soon put on the table something more than drones, missiles and nuclear technology that will change all the equations. So is that an Iranian general who is talking about UFOs? Don't they have enough going on right now? I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's a weird situation. If Iran comes out with UFOs right now, that's just weird. I don't know what to think about that. But that is what Jon Stewart, a friend of the channel, Jon Stewart, is saying. And I think that is just super intriguing. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Meanwhile, from David Haith breaking down this video, he is saying, Jack Sephardi is saying that he has seen a classified 4K video of a talking gray alien. He dropped the bombshell on Jeremy Reese's Alien Scientist podcast. He said, I've got to be careful because I was read into classified information by a guy who shouldn't have done, showed me what he showed me, so I have to protect like Russ Coulthard says, but what I can tell you is that I have basic 100% certainty that I have seen a live gray. I've heard it talk. I've seen it in 4K. This is important information that changes everybody's conception of reality, okay? I can tell you that the grays are real. I have seen classified military intelligence vetted from a guy who I know very well. And the grays are real. These tall humanoids, kind of, scary bastards. They're real and the orbs are real, so I know of those 3 or 4 for sure. I'm sure there are others. Other people say others. I don't know about the Nordics. Let's put it this way. The probability that I've been lied to is about 1/100th or 1%. It could always be wrong, but I have very high confidence, statistical confidence, that what I'm telling you is the truth. And it's real, okay? I also know that the U.S. Navy had at least one intact retrieved craft, and I know how they fly it. They fly, but they don't understand how it works because all these craft are alive. It's alive! These are conscious artificial intelligence, okay? Then Sephardi dropped another bombshell. I think it may very well be, I don't know this for sure, all these UFOs, the Tic Tacs, they may be Russian, but they're time travelers. Time-traveling Russians. That explains the entirety of the UFO mystery. Potentially, according to Jack Sephardi. I don't know, Jack. I don't know. You got a good name, but I don't know about that. David says they may be what, Jack Sephardi says, they may be what Russia's going to build maybe 5 to 10 years from now. This is the scenario now. Listen to this. I have reason to think this. I hope I'm wrong. I could be wrong. So if they're Russian, if they're really Russian, that means they've neutralized all the American nukes and all the British nukes and all the French and German nukes. I'm not saying it's true, but I have reason to think it might be true. I'd say 50-50. The Russians have been monitoring my stuff for many years. Also, they videoed me in 2014, and they spent 3 hours with the film crew from St. Petersburg, Channel 5, filming the stuff we're talking about, which I knew back then. I've been on Russian video, and I was told this is important intelligence. I was told by the Russian guy interviewing me that Vladimir Putin was very interested in this stuff. Personally interested. Putin was interested in UFOs. Took an interest. So that's why I have some reason to think that all these things that are attacking the U.S. Navy bases and neutralize, I think they are, my guess is, and I could be wrong, say 50-50, my guess is they are Russian, Chinese, Iranian. So I guess from the future. Of course, UFOs have also interfered with Russian nukes, Soviet nukes to be precise, triggering a launch sequence of nuclear weapons, only halting it at the last moment. So I don't see how this could be Russian, potentially Chinese, I guess. But that's why I hate time travel, because you could just say, hey, it's time travelers. I guess you could make the same claim about aliens, but at least it's likely that there are beings from other worlds, and they do seem to be here. Time travel in general is much harder to pin down, and it's so hard to make sense of. I just hate time travel. I know that it seems to be a thing, at least the technology that the UFOs display. It definitely seems to allow that. They seem to be able to go outside of our 3D reality, outside of 4D, which is time, right? So they can go outside of time as we know it. So it's entirely likely that they can indeed travel through time, and various experiencers have even reported on that. So yeah, time travel might be a thing, but that doesn't mean I like it, and I sure hope it is not an explanation for anything that we're seeing. But let me know if you think otherwise. And let me know if you think that UFOs are Russian or Chinese or Iranian time travelers. Now, I think that some of it is likely time travelers, but I don't think that in any way explains the entirety of the UFO phenomenon. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. But either way, Jack Safardi is claiming that he has seen video of a live talking gray alien in 4K. Now, grays usually communicate, telepathically, but there have been a few cases that I've looked at where they do speak with their vocal cords. So, so that's not too crazy. It's from my own research. Let me know what you think about that and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. Baxi would too. He loves that. He loves that stuff. He loves social media. He's a social media hound. Okay, cat. All right, guys. See you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road signing out.